Okay, so we're currently recording this, and what I'd like to show you is the syllabus tool. So what we have here is a series of sandboxes that we have created from some of the first courses that I taught on Canvas. And so we actually use these at One a ton for training, and you never know what you're going to find in them because we all use them. And so instead of calling them sandboxes, we fondly refer to them as our litter boxes because there's always something that you're turning up that you're like, wait, how did that get in there? But the syllabus tool is available on the course menu. And you can deactivate the syllabus tool, which some people do, but we think that it's a really terrific tool. So we want to show you how to use it well rather than deactivating it. So when you click on syllabus in the menu bar, what you'll get is an editable field. So let me show you, let me see if I have one up here that is kind of a blank canvas like the ones that you might have. No. So it looks like I have the same example up over and over again. That's not helpful. Here we go. Okay, so this is an example where what we've shown is, well, hold on one second. I do want to show you what it looks like with nothing in it. So maybe this will work. Okay, yay. So when you first log into the syllabus tool, what you'll see is that there's nothing down here in the course summary, and there's just this little blurb to you from Canvas that says this is the syllabus page and you can do what you want with it. And there's an edit button here, and what you can edit is everything above the course summary. I'm going to talk a little bit about the course summary in just a second, but what you need to know about it is that you can't edit it. It is a tool that's generated by Canvas. So, but this area up here above the course summary is editable by you. And so one of the things that we find is that people think, well, it says syllabus, so I should put my syllabus there. And what it does is it creates this long page, and we haven't even filled these in. We've just used headings and then a little bit of text to hold the space. And you can see that even just with headings, and this is only some of the stuff that we have in our syllabus. We usually have more than this in our syllabus. What it does is it creates this long page that students have to scroll through. And though it's important to provide your syllabus information where students expect to see it, what you don't want to do is create this gigantic web page that students have to scroll through in order to find information. So we want to offer you a couple of ways that you can prevent that. So for instance, in our course, what you'll see with the syllabus page is that we have created just a little set of instructions, and then we link our equivalent of a syllabus to it. And so students can open up that syllabus by looking at the inline text, or they can download it by choosing the download option. And so there's just a little bit of instructions and then the actual document right here. But one of the things we want you to think about is actually teaching in a digital era. And so when we do that, we move things from documents to actual web pages. So though it might be important to have a downloadable document of your syllabus for students who want to download it, 80 to 90% of your students are actually going to be accessing the digital version. So they're never going to download and print out a document when they're taking an online course. So we need to start thinking about what does it mean to provide information to students when they're not going to download it and print it. And another thing to think about is that everything on the web now prints pretty nicely, and Canvas prints pretty nicely. So if your students do want to print something, they don't necessarily have to have a document to print it. They can print it right from your course, right from the web page. So instead of having, where's that example? Instead of having a lot of text right here that students have to scroll through, one option is to have that document there that they can open using the inline feature and read right there. But another example that we'd like to show you is one that looks more like this. So here we have only a few policies, but what we've done is linked students to a communication policy. So when they click on the link, it takes them to that communication policy. And you can do this in a variety of ways. I prefer to do it by having an orientation module that breaks my syllabus down into individual points. Now, it makes for a really long orientation module, and some people don't like that. But it also means that you can use all of the functions of modules to push your students through the information. So for instance, when they click on the start, then they just simply next through your introductory material. And you can actually track what they've looked at by using the analytics in Canvas. So you can see if they've skipped something, or you can set the module up so that they have to view everything before they can move on to the next piece. So you can set a prerequisite or a requirement on it. So it forces students then to actually look at the material. Now, I'm not positive that students are going to look at a syllabus that carefully anyway. So the other feature here that I really like is that in week 4, when students really have a question about academic honesty. So I teach communication and writing. And after our first papers, I might say something to students like, you didn't cite your sources correctly, and I realize this is a learning experience and I want to teach you how to cite them correctly. So please review the academic honesty policy and then revise this paper, make an appointment with me or whatever. So that's when students are going to be driven back to that syllabus to look at that academic honesty policy. And what I want to do is make sure that I have the information here where they can find it as easily as possible. So they click on academic honesty, it takes them to that page in the orientation unit, and they have the information that they need. So my belief is that students are going to use that syllabus more frequently later in the course to look at specific information. For instance, tutoring services or communication policies or something like that. So there's only 4 things linked here, but usually I have an entire list of things that are linked right here. And then it has the added benefit of making sure that this top part of the syllabus tool is relatively short. It's super concise, and that means that they can get to this course summary more easily. And the value of the course summary is that it lists every single assignment, and in this particular sandbox, these assignments don't have due dates, so you just see them in alphabetical order. But if this were a live course, it would actually have everything that has a grade attached to it or is in your calendar would be listed under the course summary. So students have a place that they can look to see what's upcoming and making sure that they're not missing any assignments. One of the things that people say is, well, boy, then they can just skip the content. If they have this list of assignments, they can just go right to the assignment and they don't have to then do any of the other work. But you can set a requirement on the assignment that says that they have to have read the prior content before they can actually access this. So that requirement's not set in this case, but if it were, it would say you're not yet able to do the orientation quiz because you still have to read this, this, and this, and it lists all those requirements for the students. So that's a really, really terrific tool as well. The other thing about the syllabus page and this course summary is I used to publish this as part of my syllabus. So I would make a table and I would have the due dates and the readings and all of that. And I was constantly fiddling with that table because I would adjust a due date or I would add something new. And so I would have to remake the whole table, add rows and adjust it throughout the semester. And because this is generated automatically by Canvas, you never have to do that anymore. It does it for you. When you put something in with a grade or if you change a due date, it automatically updates it into your course summary. So that's a really terrific tool. I want to teach you one other thing that's really important about Canvas, and it has to do with adding these links in right here. So this week in our course, we're playing around with the rich text editor, and at the end of this week, we'll actually have another one of these tech talks, and we'll talk about the rich content editor. But one thing that you should know right now is that you can create a link using the rich content editor. When you create a link here, however, it creates what's called a permanent link. So if I want to go to Amazon.com, I know if I type Amazon.com into the URL, it will take me to Amazon. I could do it today, I could do it tomorrow, I could do it the next day. Amazon will always be Amazon. But our courses are dynamic because our courses change each semester. So right now I'm in course 584. So you can see up here This is the California Community College Online Ed instance of Instructure. When you look at our course, it says RSCCD because it's your campus's instance of Canvas, okay? And our course number is 6337. Your individual sandboxes will have their own course number as well. So when you go to create a copy of your sandbox, or when you go to copy your course from spring to fall, that course number is going to change. So if you've made a link in your course by copying this URL, and this is from summer, and then you put it into your fall class, your fall students will click on that link and it will tell them they don't have access to your summer course. The scary part is you have access to your summer course and your fall course. So when you go to check the link, it's not going to tell you there's a problem at all because you have access to both courses. But your students will get a red box that says unauthorized. And that really freaks them out, and it's going to freak you out as well. So when we make a link to something in our course that we want to update when the course updates, then we need to make something called a relative link. Okay, so we make a permanent link by copying the URL up here, but we make a relative link in a different way. And so I want to show you how to do that. It's super easy. It's actually easier than making a permanent link. So I have here a Start Here button, my communication policy, my academic honesty policy, and my disability resources. But I want to add more of my policies. So I would like them to know about the time commitment. So I'm just going to put my cursor in a new line, and I'm going to click on time commitment. And when I do that, it automatically adds a link to that page here in my syllabus. And it copies the title of the page. Now I want to put these in a different order, and I'm going to skip some, so I don't want the numbers here because the numbers will be out of order and it will confuse the students. So I can put my cursor in and I can just adjust that and the link stays the same. So I also want them to know about our course policies. And oops, what did I just do? Didn't go down to a link, sorry. Course policies. If you've got something highlighted and you click on a link over it, it will actually erase that link. So don't want to do that. Let's see, what was the other one I put in? Oh, it's already in there, okay. I might want them to know about assignments and grading. So when I do that, what it actually does is it makes a link that will automatically update when the course gets copied. So Canvas knows that these are links that stay within the course. So when the course number changes, it changes the course number in every single link in your course as long as you've done it using this link list right here. So it allows you to link to pages. It allows you to link to assignments, quizzes, announcements, discussions, modules, and your course navigation. So that's anything in this menu bar over here. So it's a really, really terrific feature of Canvas that allows you to create those relative links. Pretty cool. So that's the syllabus tool. Do you have questions about using the syllabus tool, or is there something I can show you about using the syllabus tool?
I'd actually like to know more about Zoom.